Weapons, weapons, weapons. The three-word agenda in Ukraine's demands of NATO and the G7 for more advanced equipment. But will they get them? Meetings are underway in Brussels. The Russian invasion sharpens into a concentrated assault on Ukraine's eastern Donbas region. Eastern Ukraine sits on the verge of a new stage of the war, with Russian forces repositioning for a new offensive. Let's speak to John Biver in Riga, Latvia for more. John, the Kremlin says that the supply of weapons to Ukraine, that's going to hurt the peace talks. Are negotiations actually going anywhere at the moment, though?
Well, to be frank, no, not really. The negotiations in terms of peace talks very much seem to be struggling after there had been initially positive news from last week and the week before in terms of groups from both sides meeting in Turkey and things like that. Now things seem to have declined slightly. The Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, accused Kyiv of being controlled by Washington and its allies. And he said Ukraine was showing an unwillingness to negotiate once again, and very much claiming that Western powers are pushing President Zelensky to continue fighting. That was the message from Moscow. So Moscow very much thinking that if NATO starts supplying more weapons, or if independent sovereign nations who are part of NATO keep supplying weapons, then all of these things are going to dent the peace process. So that's the line coming out of the Kremlin at the moment.
Meantime, John, G7 nations, they want more as well. They've called for Russia to be suspended from the UN's human rights body over alleged atrocities in Ukraine. But how is Moscow going to take this? Are they going to take issue with this?
Yeah, absolutely. They're taking issue with this. They have, in fact, sent a letter around to certain members of the UN, certain member states, taking issue with just this, claiming that the initiative aimed at the expulsion of the Russian Federation has got nothing to do with human rights, they say. It's another step to punish our country for the independent internal and foreign policy. And again, claiming this is all a big Western attempt to remain in control of global affairs. There was also a fairly thinly veiled threat in that letter to other countries as well, saying that support for the United States initiative, or in fact abstention or non-participation, would not go down well with Moscow. So very much there is the feeling that Moscow is saying you're either with us or against us. And obviously, a lot of countries have already laid their cards on the table and said they are against what Russia is doing and against the invasion of Ukraine. But we are starting to see very firm lines being drawn, with people either supporting Russia or not. And Russia is saying you can't take that middle ground anymore. So we are going to start to see some very definite splits emerging.
It would appear so. John, thank you very much for that. John Biver there in Riga, Latvia.